and welcome to the October 17th Sunday service of the Unitarian Universalist Church of St. Petersburg. My name is John Motter. I'm a member of this church on its worship committee and also a team leader for FAST. A UU congregation is a place for all souls, all ages, genders, loves, colors, abilities, struggles, immigration status, education, beliefs, questions, and hopes. Our congregations are devoted to promoting spiritual growth and caring community, learning from all peoples and from our own life experiences. We want to acknowledge that our church is located on land that was originally inhabited by indigenous people, including the Tokabega tribe. A couple of things to note about viewing our services on YouTube. Closed captioning is available on most devices and operating systems. You'll find the CC icon on the lower right portion of your screen. If you are watching the premiere live, then you can use the chat feature in the window next to the video. If you are viewing it at a later time, you can still read the chat transcript by clicking on the Show Chat Replay button to the right of the video. Today's service continues October's theme of cultivating relationships and how we do that through our social justice work. We have the UU's Helping People, Southside Bridge, Immigration and Refugee Families, Free Trade Coffee, and Tiny Homes for Vets. Karen Cole, Reggie, Sabina, Jerry, Karen Frank, and Virginia, and all of you who volunteer do fantastic work and have built strong relationships within the broader community. The service today will focus on FAST, or Faith and Action for Strength Together. We are one of 40+ churches working together to improve the lives of Pinellas County residents. I am not the superhero coming in to save the day. It's not about me telling you what the solution is when I may not even understand the problem. I have to cultivate the relationships necessary to be an ally. I don't know what it's like to be stopped by the police because my car is too nice for me to be driving. I listen to the stories of those who do. For many Blacks, the church is the center of their community. So the church is where I have to look to cultivate relationships. So when I'm at a FAST meeting, I focus on the great music that I'm listening to. I focus on the power of 2,000+ people affirming their strength through the prayers and the amens. And I enjoy it because it is not about me and my wants, it's about improving my community. I hope that all of you watching will find something that helps you grow spiritually, both individually and as a member of the greater community. Your presence is needed and wanted as we work towards building a blessed community. Finally, I'd like to thank John and James for the music and video editing, Reverend Ben and Dave Cole for their words, Pat Flynn for her words and homily, and now Dave Cole, who is one of the founding members of UUSP's FAST committee, and he will be here to light the chalice and say the covenant.
Good morning. I'm Dave Cole, and I'm a member of this church, a network member of FAST, and I am happy you are with us this morning. The flaming chalice is a symbol of hope, the sacred, the quest for truth, the warmth of community, the light of reason, and more. We say our covenant along with the chalice lighting to create a reverent space for reflection, prayer and meditation, and singing. Please join us in reciting the covenant.
Love is the spirit of this church, and service is law. This is our great covenant, to dwell together in peace, to seek the truth in love, and to help one another.
Our invocation is an excerpt from The Heart of Our Faith by Monica Jacobson Tennyson. What is it that gives you the power to make that change, to ask that question, to take that journey? It is relationship, the beating heart of our faith. And now Janae will have the story for all ages.
Hello and good morning. My name is Janae Johnson, and I'm here to share the story for all ages. The story for today is called The Other Side by Jacqueline Woodson, This story is about two young girls, a young black girl named Clover and a white girl named Annie, who live on opposite sides of a fence. Both of their families have told them not to cross the fence. The difference in the sides was that Clover's mom told her that it wasn't safe. Being children, curiosity and cleverness found a way to bridge the gap between the two. Instead of crossing over the fence, why not just sit on top? Both children were confused about the fence someone else had built in their yards, and with racial tension that divided their world, these two girls saw an opportunity for friendship. Every day, their friendship grew stronger, and even though their families both told them not to cross the fence, Clover's mom saw that she had made a friend. In our theme of the month, pertaining to cultivating relationships, building bridges, and crossing fences, all help connect relationships. Change does start on a local level, but there is always much work to be done. Be sure to read this story in your spare time by visiting a local library. Thank you, gracias, arigato, and dhanyavad for being here.
This is the time in our worship service where we lift up the joys and concerns in our community and in the world. We start off with a stone of concern for Joshua, who comes to us on Fridays as part of the Friday Homeless Picnic. Unfortunately, Joshua lost his mother to COVID-19. His mother, Shirley Ann Coulter, passed, and she graced this world from 1965 until last week, and he was not able to attend his funeral. A stone of concern for Kelly's father, Luis. We send wishes that he soon be out of pain. And another stone of concern for another person who comes to us on Fridays, Jamie, for his 91-year-old mother in Seattle, that he might be with her soon, and for her health concerns. So I'm going to put a fourth stone of concern for Jamie, who is facing homelessness, and for young Joshua, who is doing the same, along with his pregnant wife. So that's 6 stones of concern this week, and we turn to stones of joy for John and Bill's niece, who welcomed a son, Owen James. Their niece Jessica welcomed a son called Owen James. So that means John and Bill are great uncles again, and that means Ruth Bentley, you are a great grandmother again. Congratulations to you all. Finally, for Pat Fling's niece's mother-in-law, Frances, who has also been struggling from COVID and spent 5 weeks in the intensive care unit on a ventilator, on a feeding tube, and has just been discharged to a rehab facility, is feeling better, is learning to walk again. Best wishes for you, Miss Frances, in your continued recovery. And then we put one more stone for those joys and concerns that remain in our hearts, perhaps too tender yet to be spoken aloud. And let us take a moment of silence together. The mystery is that we are connected, even when we feel apart. So let us rejoice that makes of the many one. So may it be.
We are a gentle, angry people, and we are singing for our lives. We are a gentle, angry people, and we are singing, singing for our lives. We are a justice-seeking people, and we are singing, singing for our lives. We are a justice-seeking people, and we are singing, singing for our lives. We are a land of many colors, and we are singing, singing for our lives. We are a land of many colors, and we are singing, singing for our lives. We are all in this together, and we are singing, singing for our lives. We are all in this together, and we are singing, singing for our lives. We are a gentle, loving people, and we are singing, singing for our lives. We are a gentle, loving people, and we are singing, singing for our lives.
And thank you to all the leaders of today's worship service. This is an absolutely essential part of our ministry, both social justice in general and FAST in particular. FAST, as you probably know, stands for Faith in Action for Strength Together. But why, maybe you're wondering, why do this during a worship service? Why is this just not a program, a committee, a team? And I'm going to tell you why. It's because this is an essential part of our ministry. This is who we are as Unitarian Universalists, as members of the UU Church of St. Petersburg, and as members of our community. There were over 800 people who took part in house meetings for FAST these past few weeks. I had the honor of going to Pat Fling's house briefly to take part in that process. And from there comes the work of FAST. Now, James is going to put the names of the leaders in this congregation who have been doing this work on the screen. And so we usually do this in person, but I'm going to do this via this videotape. I just want to say thank you so much for your leadership. Thank you for your service. Bless you for doing the work of FAST, for doing the work of social justice, and for doing the essential work of Unitarian Universalism. Amen, and blessed be.
Thank you, Reverend Ben, for commissioning the members of FAST. Our first reading is from Father Gregory Boyle, founder of Buddy Industries. There is a word for that, and the word is kinship. How can we achieve a certain kind of compassion that stands in awe of what the poor have to carry, rather than stand in judgment at how they carry it? For the measure of our compassion lies not in our service of those on the margins, but in our willingness to see ourselves in kinship with them. That's what we want to achieve, the sense of mutuality, where we obliterate once and for all the illusion that we are separate. Not us and them, just us. For there's an idea that's taken root in the world. It's at the root of all that is wrong with it. And the idea would be this, that there just might be lives out there that matter less than other lives. How do we stand against that idea? And now our anthem, When I Wake Up in America, by Leah.
When I wake up in America, I see my neighbors there with every type of clothes and shoes, hats and skin and hair, every fine belief and custom, scores of songs from who knows where. When I wake up in America, our stories fill the air. Wake up, despierta, wake up, despierta, wake up in America. The light in the harbor shines for us all. When I wake up, I see the kids playing happily swaying. It's good to be staying in a place like this, with a face like this. When I wake up in America, I put away my fear, and I love my neighbor as myself. And I say, I'm glad that you're here. We have found ourselves together in a land we dream could be. When we wake up in America, everybody will be free. Wake up, despierta, wake up, despierta, wake up, please, America. The light in the harbor shines for us all. When I wake up, when you wake up, when we wake up in America.
Greetings, friends. My name is Lee Hall Perkins, and I'm the senior pastor of Mount Zion United Methodist Church in Clearwater. And I serve as the co-chair of the Affordable Housing Committee for the Fast Justice Ministry. One of my favorite quotes comes from the Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. It says this: "We are all caught up in an inescapable network of mutuality, tied in a single garment of destiny. Whatever affects one directly affects all indirectly." I don't know about you, but in a time of great polarization, I find it as a breath of fresh air to work alongside others across different religious traditions for a common goal of making our county a more just and fair place for us all to live, to work, to play, to be educated, and to worship. The truth of the matter is that we cannot afford to be divided or working in our own silos. In our county, there are more than 70,000 individuals who are one paycheck, one tragedy away from experiencing homelessness. The stakes are high. We need people power to secure affordable housing for those most in need. So it doesn't matter what faith tradition you come from, we all must do the work of justice together. Whenever the Fast Justice Ministry comes together, the question is asked, how do we stand? And the answer is emphatically fast together.
Last Saturday, I experienced the St. Petersburg Black History Bike Tour. Not only was it a fun way to spend time outdoors in our city, but it gave me a new window into seeing our city through new eyes that explain the deep segregation that still exists in our city. Through my participation in FAST, I'm more connected to a broader range of people of different skin hues, different religious traditions, different economic circumstances, and more. This is important to me because due to St. Pete and Pinellas County's racial segregation, I could easily lead an all-white life with only other privileged white people. Over and over again, I'm impressed with the dedication and commitment of our fellow Pinellas County residents who are involved in FAST, working to change the public policies that harm our fellow residents. Why do we care about changing public policy? Wouldn't it be easier to provide more direct services to those in need? I would like to share a story that explains our intent. Once there was a village on the edge of a river. The people there were good and life in the village was good. One day our villager noticed a person drowning in the river. The villager quickly swam out to save the person from drowning. The next day, the same villager saw 2 people drowning. He called for help, and both people were rescued from the swift waters. The following day, 4 people were seen and caught in the turbulent current, and then 8, then more, then still more. The villagers organized themselves, setting up watchtowers, training teams of swimmers who could rescue the drowning people. Rescue squads were soon working 24 hours a day, and each day the number of people drowning in the river increased and rescues continued. While not all the drowning people, now very numerous, could be saved, the villagers felt that they were doing well to save as many as they could each day. Indeed, the village minister blessed them in their good work. Life in the village continued on that basis. One day, however, someone raised the question, but where are all these drowning people coming from in the first place? Let's organize a team of people to go upstream and find out who is responsible for this and how we can change that. The challenge for community organizing like FAST is to identify the agent who has the power to make the needed change and then to induce them to solve the problem. The link between the identified agent and the specific social problem is the key to the solution. Once this link is identified, volunteers like me and the other community members involved in FAST meet with the identified agent, who could be a school board or police chief or sheriff or county commissioners, and over time work to convince them to make the needed change. Our power as FAST comes from our numbers. When we have an annual action, we recruit thousands of community members, like lots of people from the UU St. Pete, to show up. Our power is based on the number of people who are paying attention to their agreement to make the needed change. Why work on local issues, you might wonder? Shouldn't we just focus on national issues that we read about in the newspapers or watch on the TV news? So many local, city, county, and state decisions affect our personal lives on a daily basis. So many local issues treat our brothers and sisters from less privileged lives unfairly. Moneyed interests often influence decision makers in their direction. FAST is an effective alternative to the power of money. How effective is FAST? Some of FAST's accomplishments include: we convinced the city of St. Pete and Pinellas County to allocate $96 million for affordable housing. We obtained agreement by the Pinellas School Board to implement the Restorative Practices Program with Fidelity to improve the way school conflicts are handled to reduce school suspensions. The school district has agreed to allocate $500,000 to train and coach teachers in this process. We reached agreement with the police chief of St. Pete and the county sheriff to review each complaint and report back to the person submitting the complaint on the outcome. We achieved a process so that each local Florida law department can bypass locking up first-time juveniles for nonviolent minor offenses, diverting youth to community-based programs without giving them criminal records. Youth who go through such programs face consequences for their actions. They do community service, make restitution to the victims and the community, and complete what other interventions are deemed necessary to change their behavior. Youth in the civil citations program are 3 times less likely to get into trouble again as youth who are arrested for the same infractions. Because of our work over the last 5 years, 23,255 children in Florida were not arrested for first-time nonviolent misdemeanor offenses and instead got access to a civil citation. This means that we saved the state over $104 million by reducing youth arrests. Further, Pinellas County has gone from 80% of children receiving access to diversion programs to 97%, the highest in the state. In our county, over 800 fewer children have been arrested because of our work. We convinced the school board to have school resource officers participate in a mandatory training on alternatives to student arrests. In one school year, the total number of arrests has already decreased by 30%. We secured commitments from the director of the Early Learning Coalition to provide funding so that all low-income children in Pinellas County can attend a full-day pre-K program. And over the past 17 years, FAST has achieved many more victories as well. The UU St. Pete is an important part of this process with over 40 other faith communities in Pinellas County. There are many issues that we can work on together. We don't need to think alike to love alike. FAST is the largest social justice program that the UU St. Pete Church is involved in with our community. The cycle of FAST community organizing looks like this. Each August and September, house meetings are held, led by team leaders all over Pinellas County. This year, John and I held house meetings where 21 people attended. Around the county, over 100 people have attended house meetings. At these house meetings, people build their connections to each other and share their personal worries and concerns. We heard about issues related to affordable housing, mental health and addictions, flooding, clean water, mold, and more. People are asked to make a commitment to be a part of a ministry team where they agree to attend 4 big gatherings and bring others with them to the annual Big Action, and to make a financial investment in the work of FAST. Then in October, everyone who is part of the teams joins together to vote on what issues we'll work on together for the year ahead. We then form committees for each issue, and some of our participants hold research meetings. These meetings, which have been on Zoom during the pandemic, are where we identify experts on the issues, develop an agenda and a list of questions to learn more about the problem and potential changes. After learning a lot together, we agreed to focus on a specific solution that meets criteria we've developed, which includes that the solution will bring about meaningful change. We then identify who has the power to make the needed change and begin a series of meetings to negotiate for these changes. In March, we hold a big action where we invite the decision makers to attend and recruit thousands of community members like you. For each solution, we either celebrate the commitments made in advance or ask again for the changes needed. In April, we celebrate our victories, which will result in social change for our community. We welcome your participation and support. Thank you, and blessed be.
To keep our congregation thriving, let's remember our connections to one another and not forget our offerings to support the means to those connections. This week is also a Share the Plate weekend, where half of the collection will go towards the FAST social justice ministry. If you're watching today on a mobile device or computer, please hover your finger or cursor in the upper right-hand corner of your screen and click on the I in the small circle for a secure way to give. You can also donate through the Vanco mobile app or on the website under the Giving tab at uustpete.org, or by sending a check to the church office. Many thanks.
Thank you so much for attending this extremely important worship service, and thank you to the leaders and speakers today. We extinguish this chalice, but not the light that helps our eyes see the truth, not the warmth that helps our hearts feel our connection, and not the fire that helps us commit to a better world. These we keep inside ourselves until we meet again.
Amen.
Our benediction today comes from Elizabeth Lerner McClay. As drops of rain that find each other and build to become a track, a rivulet, a stream, a river, a sea, so are we drawn together. Thank you for joining us. Please join us for coffee hour starting up right after the service. If you stay and watch the screen, it'll give you directions on how to get into the Zoom coffee hour. We would love to see you there. Thanks so much.